Describe a little bit more some of the things associated with the bill. And again, it's high level, but it's probably a good place to start since we're just becoming acquainted with it now. We did find a fairly significant list of policy proposals in the bill that we felt weren't directly connected to the bill's plan as a budget bill and needed, in some cases, more attention than we could give in the weeks that we've had here. So we have removed a series of provisions in the bill, not because we think they're necessarily bad, but because we believe they need more attention than we could give them in this budget making process. So those things will show up as we go through the detailed changes that we're going to in committee there. You'll see things that remove or maintain current law, and those are frequently things that are just simply coming out of the bill for now. And we're like, for example, there's a land conveyance in there. We just didn't feel that we had a chance to run the traps on that. And so we'll probably have a bill to do land conveyance, and maybe there's some others that need to be conveyed at the same time. There are policies associated with, for example, the education service centers on their governance that were recommended that we feel need more attention than we could give them. So that will not be a substitute bill. However, there are other things that take a lot of pages, and frankly, this bill, as far as pages goes, is very similar in size to what was introduced. It's not bigger; it's a little tiny bit smaller, but it's a similar size bill, very large bill. The major policy areas, the Speaker made some references to some of the most difficult part of this budget, and I'll touch on those a little bit as well. But in the tax area, we are going to continue a lot more work than what you're going to see in the substitute bill. We've been in conversations with the administration, with the Senate, and interested parties around the idea that we feel that the scope and size of what the administration is recommending in terms of tax reforms is a doable target. It's in that zone, but we need to do a lot more work to develop some alternatives to getting to the goals that some of the goals that have been set. So what we're proposing in this bill is not a finished product, but it is a substantial movement in the direction that was recommended by the administration. We are proposing an immediate, permanent 7% reduction in the personal income tax in our state, all the brackets, and that would continue forward with no sunset. So that is paid for out of the fact that the administration has been so effective in managing this budget that we actually have revenue growth that isn't being spent entirely, so that we can spend some of it to lower the tax burden on our citizens. And it's substantial. It's $1.5 billion over the next 2 years. In the area of primary and secondary education, we have found a recommendation, set of recommendations from the administration that we felt we could work with, and have used their recommendations broadly with adjustments and modifications that we made that we feel further achieve the goals that were set forth in the recommendation. The overall spending in that area is similar to what was recommended by the administration. It's a substantial additional investment, but it is going to show that the majority of our districts, the substantial majority, are getting increases next year and the year after over what they were getting this year. We were able to accomplish this by some changes in how the formulation and distribution of the funds is being accomplished, and we feel that will be helpful to the districts. There will be a map available. I don't think you have it yet, but there will be a map. Maybe it's around here somewhere. We can pull it up here. That shows across the state, by school district, 3 things. There's a legend with 3 things on it. You'll see it sitting over here. You can see it has a red legend for districts that are getting less funds, and as we look across the state, there are no districts getting less funds. The green across the state are districts that are projected to have increases next year over this year, And our projection is now comprehensive. We've got the information to include the transportation funding that was not initially available, and other pieces that give you a full picture. The yellow on the map are districts that continue to be on the guarantee. So, and there are some of those, but they are substantially less. We went from close to 400 districts that were on the initial recommended guarantee to under 200. I think it's 175. That would be on the guarantee. So that's a little bit about that. We felt that education service centers needed to have sustainable funding, so we actually gave them a little bit of an increase over this year for their funding stream for next year. And we did make some changes that we can perhaps give some further explanation of in terms of how the formula plays out and works. But generally, I think we've been able to adjust within the framework that was recommended by the administration in ways that actually are helpful. In the health funding and the funding for health coverage, we actually don't see this as just a health coverage issue, because what we're really trying to do, and this is where I think there's so much common ground that I'm hoping can become something we build on with the many folks who are focused on this, the common ground being the desire to help folks move up in their situation. We know that there are barriers in many cases that hold them back. And the largest population that's under discussion here is the area of adults who do not have children that are in poverty. And it's in that area that we feel that there needs to be a lot of focus, and we heard some compelling testimony in our committee that frequently the most effective help are people who've been through it themselves helping others, whether it's mental health issues or addiction services, and we want to be helpful there. We are putting additional resources in this direction to the tune of $30 million per year new money to our mental health agencies to provide mental health services, and $20 million per year more for addiction services across the state. So that's $100 million over the biennial in the new department that's being created in this budget. Additionally, we are very supportive of some of the recommendations the administration has brought forward in things that, in initiatives that help people to be successful with employment. The temporary assistance for needy families, a program that was started in 95-96 when we did welfare reform, continues as federal block grants, and the administration has proposed wisely a very helpful set of initiatives, $33 million per year of new money set aside out of that block grant for employment services down at the county level where people are looking for employment. Money that is often used to contract with places like Goodwill or other agencies that help people become employable. Furthermore, they have, the administration has greatly increased the allocation to our counties for their job and family services programs that are used to help people be successful with employment. $42 million more per year being allocated there than the current year by the administration. We feel this is directly targeting the folks that we're trying to help in our program here in this budget proposal. We've been in discussions both with the administration and with many outside parties, as well as internally in our caucus, around this whole issue. We know that what we're proposing today is not the end of that discussion. We need to sit down and continue our discussions with these individuals, and we look forward to doing that. Hopefully, as we do that, we'll find common ground not only in our communities, but even politically within our caucuses. Higher education is an area that we feel the administration did a very good job of coming together with a set of recommendations. We did find that we feel the first year of this transition to funding that's more centered on graduation rates is going to be difficult for some of the institutions that are transitioning onto that because of their circumstances, and we're providing some additional funding. It's around $8 million per year for the first year only to help with that transition. It's transitional funding there. But other than that, it's pretty much as it was proposed. I'm sure I'm missing quite a few things that are